Survivor specialist Phil and Alexa are back with our episode 3 predictions and power rankings. And today we are joined by our favorite player ever, Lauren O'Connell from Edge of Extinction.
Okay, keep going.
Ever. I said this to Janet last week. I'm going to say it to whoever our guest is next week, but this is our favorite player ever.
That part because I was very, very flattered.
Well, you are wearing our favorite shirt ever, so at least that one works. We got the Lesu 3 with the outlines.
Can you see it? Yeah.
Eyebrows.
I know. I was like, wow, thanks, guys. Do you want to know something super funny, though, really quickly, that everyone I think will laugh at? So my dad was looking at the graphics that were made for our little watch party that we did. He straight up said to me after looking at the graphic, he's like, wow, they definitely made sure that you look heavier than Kelly. So that's good.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. That's your father.
Obviously I am. Like, that's not a surprise, but also, like, you don't have to say it.
That's wild.
Yeah, I was like, you're the worst. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. You want a sweatshirt? Take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
So Lauren seems like she had a great premiere party walking into it being super self-conscious because of her own dad. Nice. Gotta love that.
I'm like, are you kidding me with all this graphic that we have now? All the times where I apparently look fat? Dad.
There's a bunch of people in Seattle with all that stuff just walking around right now.
Oh, she's frozen. Awesome. Cool. Let's keep it going.
Am I frozen still?
No, you come and go a little bit, but you're back. No, you're back.
Really? Okay.
I'm going to roll with the punches.
Weird. Okay, cool. We're here.
You're here. It was very, very brief. It was like a 3-second thing. You're here. It's okay.
Cool.
It's your dad probably cutting the internet because he's just pissed, you know?
I know, he's like, shut up.
Shut up. You're not allowed to tell anybody that. But Lauren's back talking about episode 3 coming up. We're already down to 15 people from 18. Lauren, what are you thinking about the season so far?
I think it's very interesting. So I'm not going to lie. When I heard it was going to be 26 days, I was very skeptical, considering the fact that that would mean that I, who did not win, would play 11 days more than the winner of this season.
Wow.
And there's like the Survivor fan in me that's like, anything Survivor does, I love. So it doesn't really matter. And I think that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it now. It's like, I think that they're doing a really great job. And the thing is, viewers don't even really know what day it is anyway. Mm-hmm. So they don't care. And I think, you could see in the last few challenges, those people are white. So I think that's been super interesting. I love some of the advantages and like the new twists that they're putting in there. I am a huge fan of Shot in the Dark. I know that is a controversial topic. Wow. I love it. I think it's so interesting. I think I probably would have used that a lot. So, so I like it because there's no real downfall to it except you can't vote. But like, if your vote doesn't matter anyway, like mine rarely mattered when we were down so many people. I think it's cool.
Well, I wasn't able to. I didn't join our recap last week, so I haven't been able to talk about this whole butterflies thing. What's this group's opinion on the butterflies? I can say mine. I think it's so ridiculous, but I actually think it's kind of funny. I would hate it if I was a player, and I think it's annoying that every week, like, poor Xander's gonna have to talk about butterflies, but I think it's entertaining.
You can go next, Phil.
Yeah.
Okay, so
stupid. I'll just say it's stupid.
Yeah, I hate that that's the phrase. Because like it's you're forcing somebody to openly sound like an idiot over and over again. And Intern actually talked about it last week on the episode, but it sounds like very Big Brother-y. It's very like, oh, let's do this kind of gimmick that the audience is going to laugh at. But the players are going to get super aggravated. Like, imagine if you're on the Lesu 3, you have this really good thing going with Kelly and War Dog. Rick and David are over there, and all of a sudden you have to go in there and say whatever about butterflies. All of a sudden Kelly and War Dog are going to look at you and say, wait a second, what the hell is she thinking? And maybe we should just go with Rick and David and vote her out because she is losing her mind more than just,
it's also like you're totally outing yourself for having an idol, and there's nothing you can do because you don't have a vote. It's hilarious, but it's totally sucks for Xander.
I know, but that's why it said the beware advantage. Like, I don't know. personally think it's hilarious. I think like I cannot wait to hear Xander say that so many times. But my mom and I were actually having this debate as the episode was finishing up, and she's like, "That's so dumb. Like that's not fair to him." All this different stuff, and I'm like, I totally see that opinion. However, if his tribe didn't suck, and I can say that because my tribe sucked, then it wouldn't matter as much. You know what I mean? So the reason it mattered so much is because their tribe lost and they went to tribal council. Had they not gone to tribal council, it wouldn't have been so focused on. It wouldn't have been such a big deal. I do think there's an interesting line between, does he tell his alliance or does he keep it to himself? Because like you were saying, if I'm with Kelly and War Dog and I start talking like about butterflies or broccoli being trees, they're going to be like, she is off her rocker. Like, no. So then do you tell them, right? But then we saw what happened when Xander told Evie. So it's like, I don't know. It's a very conflicting advantage to get, which is kind of why I love it. It's like, it did say beware. It did say beware.
Warned him. It's also like the third phrase, which is like, what is it? Like, I'm as confused as a goat on AstroTurf. Like, to me,
that was, it's that one. And it's, I believe that broccoli is little trees.
It's like not nearly as weird as the broccoli and the butterflies. Like those to me are just like,
really?
I don't know who.
That one was like by far the weirdest.
Really? I feel like.
Here's my thing.
I don't know.
Alexa, I agree with you, because if Brad walks into a challenge and says, I feel like a goat on AstroTurf, or I'm as confused as a goat on AstroTurf, or he's be like, yeah, he's from Wyoming. They probably have those all the time. Because how many people on this cast have actually been to Wyoming? I would bet probably 2 at the absolute most. So they don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. You make a solid point.
Yeah,
thank you.
Like I've never thought of I've never talked about broccoli in that way. Like I'm never gonna do that.
I don't really talk about broccoli all that often.
Weird trends, because I've actually like heard people say that before. So I wouldn't think of that as weird. I'm not sure how you would fit it into a conversation, but I don't know. I think it's fun. I think it adds like this level to the game where it's like you almost get to create, let's say that they get found, you almost get to create this alliance with people from other tribes. And that's cool.
Well, and that's interesting. And that was something that I feel like they're trying to create without actually necessarily having them swap or anything like that, but still create some sort of cross-tribal alliance. Now, the other one that's an interesting twist here, and Lauren, I know you guys had nothing on Lesu, but what do you think about people having things taken away from them when they lose?
I don't know. I actually haven't thought about that a ton. I will say, so I was with Kelly when we watched the premiere, obviously, and we ended up watching it again the next day. And we were talking about that challenge that was, you know, the water buckets or whatever, or the triangles, which I tried to do the triangle and Kelly was like, you're an idiot. There's way more than 11. I was like,
I think there's like 50.
I was like, yeah, no, I know. And she was like pointing it out to me, and I was like, right. I knew that. I was halfway through. But we were talking about it, and it's like, we were really lucky to have Kelly and David there to kind of tell us how to do things. Having had that, I wonder, what do people do when they get there? Like, all you've seen is on TV. And it's like, it is exactly like you watch on TV, but it's also different because there's so much time period that you don't have. So we were like, really, the first day, just do the triangles, because no rice and no flint the first day is not that big of a deal. Like, we didn't cook rice the first day because we didn't have fire. And then it says you won't get it until the next immunity challenge. And so we were talking about, well, it's a way shortened game. The immunity challenge is going to be before 3 days.
Yeah.
And we didn't have flint until day 3. So I don't know. I guess I just thought that like the doing the strength, they put so much emphasis on like, we need to have flint. We need to have a pot or something like that. I don't even think they got rice. And I'm like, you don't though. You really don't. We slept without a fire. We went without a fire for 3 days. Probably more. So I don't know. I think if like Kelly and I were talking about it, if we were out there and that was given to us, where they were just going to take away something for us losing, we were like, we would just pick the easiest one, because if you lose, these 2 items right now are not that essential.
That's a good point. And what I kind of like about that is, if you think about on day one, granted it was only Vochi and Xander who had to do it, and Deshawn and Danny who had to do it, but they go and do that. They get this pot, they start fire, whatever it is, and everybody gets water. They're still not going to hydrate back to the level they were at before they started doing that challenge. Like, they are 100% going to be in a worse position no matter what the next day than they would have been had they done the triangles. Now, I'd like to hear what Evie's take on this, because it seems like Evie has been controlling that tribe literally since the moment she stepped on that beach. But is she saying, hey, screw this, let's get the guys weaker so that now I can have my all-female alliance go all the way to the end?
I think that from a selfish point of view, 100%. You say, I'm not going to do it, but y'all are welcome to carry those really heavy, very awkward to carry pots up and back that beach. And I walked that walk quite a bit. It's awful, because that's the walk you take to tribal. And I mean, Kelly and I were just dying laughing. We're like, that walk sucks. That walk sucks. So we realized how hard it was. And so from Evie's point of view, if she is like, I don't really care about those guys, let's make them weak, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's smart. And
it separates them too, which is what David said in some exit press. He was like, I lost 4 hours of like making friends.
Oh, absolutely. It's horrible. We were like, there is no chance. We were honestly floored that they decided to do that. I'm not working the triangles. You do not volunteer separated from your tribe on day 1 for 4 hours. No, absolutely not.
Especially on a 6-person tribe.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. It's awful. So I think that there was mistakes made in choosing that, but I understand having no one there to tell you it's okay if you go a day or 2 without flint and without a pot. Like, it's going to be okay. You're not going to cook your water. You're just not. It's too much effort. And you don't have any rice to cook. So why do you need it? You know, like, yeah, you'll be cold, but it's going to be fine. So I don't know. I'm sure I would have been like, oh yeah, strength for sure. I'm not going to do it, but strength.
Yeah.
Someone else do it.
But having experienced kind of those first 3 days, and theirs being even smaller amount of time between their immunity challenges, I think you just take the easiest one, you make a guess, and you move on.
Yeah, and worth playing for, said Vochi, said Abraham broke the flint instantly. So they just worked their asses off to get that, and then it was broken, and you didn't have it anyway. And then it gets taken away from them because they lose on day 3 or whatever it is, and now they have nothing anyway. And that's what I think is actually the most interesting part about the season so far, is that they are taking away from people and making you like, so if you lose, it's not just hurting you that way, it's hurting you because now you can't just go back and eat and lay around. Like, you have to figure out how you're going to get your flint back or whatever it is that you need to get back.
So I think later on in the game, it'll have a huge impact. I just haven't seen that yet. And I also cannot even imagine being on Lesu, losing again, and him being like, yeah, go ahead and give us your flint and your pot. And us just being like, why don't you just drown us in the ocean now? Like, pretty much what's happening. No, I think it's demoralizing. But right now, from what we've seen, I don't think it's made a huge impact yet.
Yeah. It's still early. We're only, I think it was day 5 when Vochi was voted out. So still early, but I think it could have an impact moving forward, especially if Yasa keeps losing. That could be bad for them because now you're weak on a lot of areas here.
Yeah. I think they're hoping for a swap.
I mean, we know they're not going to get one. I don't know if they've figured that out.
I think they were probably thinking that they'll go to 3 tribes of 5 and just mix it up, which is understandable, but it's only day 5. That's pretty early, but it is shortened. So I was kind of like making fun of them at first. I'm like, they think they're going to get a swap. It's day 5. And then I was like, hold on. We swapped on day 8 into 3 tribes. And they're already in 3 tribes. So maybe they'll just go to 3 tribes. I think they're going to go to 2 at 14.
Got it. Well, that would make sense.
Wow. Well, we will ultimately end up seeing what's going to end up happening with that, because I don't think we're getting any, but I think that's because I think somebody said that beforehand. I think somebody said that beforehand. I think that was in like the preseason press.
That.
I think
stopped watching preseason press after I watched myself and felt like I needed to be sedated.
I get that.
Yeah.
So
yes, you have more of a personal connection with that. But let's jump into these people and let's actually go through the power ranking, and this way we can really get Lauren's takes on everybody. Her authentic, no holds barred takes on every single player on this season.
I bet you can't wait.
But Lauren, if you're looking at this, who do you have at the top? Who do you have as either, I know it's still early in the game, so this might not necessarily be the safest person or the person you necessarily think is going to win, but who are you just thinking based on what we've seen so far? No chance they're going home.
I put Nasir up there.
Nice.
I think that it is I have a hard time looking at the episode without kind of trying to decipher the edit and kind of like seeing what was going on. But I know nothing. I told everybody that I know, I want no spoilers. I don't want to know anything. So I could be 100% wrong, but I felt like it was a super odd, like little tidbit to include for the only part that his tribe was included in the episode to like really highlight how well he's doing on the island. So I think it would be super odd if next episode their tribe were to lose for them to vote him off after Sydney specifically said, I'm thinking about keeping him. Like, we need him to survive. So
yeah. Go ahead, Alexa.
Yeah, I just think I have Danny at number 1. I think that tribe is just like stacked.
Yeah.
They're so athletic. And Nasir is like had a tough start, but then he's clearly good at like creating a shelter. So yeah, you got to keep him around. So I think Blue is just going to keep winning. So
I kind of love Nasir. I was like,
he's adorable.
You go.
Yeah. I love it. I thought he was so screwed after the first episode too, when he saw Deshawn and Danny. And I totally agree with you. Like, for them to draw attention to this aspect when he got such a bad first episode edit, and him and Sydney are the only ones who have been in both episodes on that tribe. Erica and Heather were invisible last episode. Danny really wasn't there, and Deshawn didn't do much. So the fact that it was something between Sydney and Nasir, I think that's something to look forward to. And if they were to lose this week and somehow Nasir went, I would be very confused as to why we heard how bad he was doing, then how good he was doing, all for him to just go home the next episode.
Same.
All right, I have Shan at number 1, and I'm starting to play a little favoritism here. So I could have gone the safe route and just put all the Luvus at the top, because this is kind of, since Lauren's here, I'll just take my digs. But this is kind of like a comma thing going on here. But but I really think that Luvu, they just outmatch everybody straight down the line. We haven't really seen much from Heather or Erica, but I think they're going to be really good on the puzzles when it actually comes to that. They have the most physical strength by far. But I love Shan. And I think Shan is so entertaining. And I think right now she is nestled perfectly in as Ricard's right hand, but not the leader. And I think Ricard is the one that, if for some reason, I mean, Brad was already saying JD is bringing up my name and he's talking to Ricard about it. If somehow Brad and JD and Jeannie were to flip, they would go for Ricard before they would go for Shan. And I think Shan's just like nestled perfectly in here. And she's been really entertaining. Probably, I would say, the most entertaining person on this season up until this point.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like her too. I think she's just like, everyone likes her and everyone wants to go far with her, but nobody knows that everyone else really likes her. It's a good spot.
All right, Lauren, who's your 2? You don't seem pumped on Shan here, but who's your 2?
No, I didn't really understand. Like, Kelly and I were talking about this before. We've seen it where someone gets a awesome edit, and I think Shan got an awesome premiere edit, and I think, she was fine in the second episode too. I don't know. I'm hesitant to be all in on Shan, but I also could totally see her being like the winner, because she has somehow convinced everyone on her tribe that she's their best friend, and nobody knows. And I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, I could totally see like she lasts 3 episodes. Like I feel like we've all watched like somebody amazing first couple episodes, and just like why?
No, for sure. Okay, so my next one would be Ricard.
Nice.
Okay, so you went the opposite route of me. What has you feeling so safe about Ricard?
Because I think that Shan, like you said, will try to protect him. And I think that Shan has so many other alliances. And like I said, Ricard is kind of her number one, so we've heard. I think she's going to try and save him if his name were to come up. However, I do think that the conversation between JD and Ricard at the last episode showed that JD was wanting to work with Ricard and not so much Brad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I say all of this, I know nothing. So
don't undersell yourself.
I don't listen to me. But
I mean, it's going to be interesting with Ricard and Shan. Andy Vogel just said here, Shan might be an Allie Elliott, but she's not done this week. But who was like, it looked like Allie was positioning herself really well, and she was doing that with Ryan, and then Ryan goes all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And she goes out in like 13.
What I'm saying is like that. I know nothing truly, but it's like, that's kind of the vibe I get. Like she's doing too well, too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And she is very charismatic. And I just think I think she makes it to the merge, but then I think people start getting into it because once you're at the merge, there's so much more conversation that's going on. People are going to see that she's having the same conversations with everybody. But you know,
do you have Ricard as a hero or a villain right now? That's a villain.
I did not put people at heroes or villains, and I was not prepared to give that. So next time, I kind of think that he's a hero. I think that I think the funny villain that he's getting, like not really, but he's just kind of saying what he thinks. I don't know. I definitely did not have him as a villain. So I would put him as like a neutral, you know?
Okay.
So he could go either way. I'm just kind of put it out.
I think it's interesting because how positive he was in all the pregame press and stuff. To hear him and I love it. I think he's been great. But to hear him come out on this season and certain things they say, like, Brad, he doesn't know what he's doing. This guy, like, he's very blunt. And I don't think I was expecting that from him. And that automatically, when you're blunt on Survivor, that automatically throws you in as a villain. Like that's just kind of how Survivor positions people. Yeah. But I think it's he's given me a much different gameplay than I was anticipating from all the pregame press and everything like that. And that's a good thing. But I just think, you know, he's kind of going where he's trying to control this tribe and do it in just such a straightforward way that it almost seems ruthless already. And we're only on day number 5. So I just think it's interesting. And he's also playing with Brad, who's all over the place, Jeannie, we haven't heard from, and JD, who seems like he's playing really scatterbrained. Maybe that's just the way he has to do it.
Yeah. I will say when you said that he's playing very straightforward, I think that I just automatically thought about kind of gender roles on Survivor and how, like, if a woman was to do that, like if Shan was taking that position, I think that people would cut her immediately. But because it's a male, it's a little bit more like, I just think it's so interesting how you have to shift your personality and your gameplay, whether you are a male or female. And I think it's funny that you said that because I had never really thought about before that he was like so straightforward, but I kind of feel like it's working for him.
I think so too.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. That's my absolutely zero experience 2 cents.
Alexa, who's your 2?
My number 2 is Erica. She isn't like, we don't hear a lot from her, but she is like a puzzle champion on the Blue Tribe. And like, they are just like top to bottom, like so good at challenges. They're very physical and they're also really good at puzzles. And everyone knows how important puzzles are. So there's no reason to get rid of her. She seems very like kind and inoffensive. And there's other people who have at least had some kind of drama around them. So I don't see why Erica would go home. And not to jump too far, but I have Shan at 3 and Ricard at 4. Because I think out of that green tribe, like when Brad was like spying on Ricard and JD, Shan then immediately told Ricard about it. Like they are clearly like super buddy. And I think they're both probably like the smartest Survivor players on that tribe. And I think they both know that.
And Brad did that in front of Shan.
Yeah.
So it's like, he obviously trusts her. So yeah, I think those are solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I can give you 3 and 4 too. Give me 1 second. So I'm gonna put number 3, Jeannie.
Okay.
Who?
I have zero reasoning behind that. I just like her.
I love that for you.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeannie is gonna be number 3 for me. I also, from like kind of an editing perspective, she has had no time so far, and I find it very, very unlikely that next episode they vote out someone that nobody has a connection to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But whatever. And then my 4th one, I think I'm gonna go with. I'm trying to remember who's on Sydney's tribe. Nasir and
Danny Deshawn.
And Danny Deshawn. Okay, yeah, she's on like this, and Erica. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sydney as my number 4, just because I don't think Blue is gonna lose.
Got it. That makes sense. And like, it's so weird for me with the Blue tribe, because so I actually put Evie at 2 after putting Evie way at the bottom last time. But I think right now, the fact that Xander doesn't have a vote and absolutely will not be getting his vote back this episode, because there's no way both tribes are finding it within this 1 day span, that even if Yasa goes to tribal council, which I think is very likely, they can't flip on her because Liana's too close to her. And if Liana brings up Evie's name, Tiffany is going to say, screw that, I'm voting out Liana because I trust Evie. And if Tiffany brings up Evie's name, it's going to be the same thing where Liana's going to say, no way. And Xander can't do anything about it. So no matter what, I don't see a scenario where Evie is not in the 2-1 majority on that tribe. And I still think that the female alliance on that tribe is real. And I think that we are most likely going to end up seeing not necessarily Xander be voted out, but that's going to be what the push is. And then will that cause a rift between the 3 of them that keeps Xander around? That's the only thing I'm thinking. But I just don't see any way where 2 people write down Evie's name at this next episode. I just don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
And then my 3 and 4 are Danny and Deshawn. Because Danny, I really liked. He was my favorite after episode 1, even though he didn't do anything in episode 2. And Deshawn, I think, is still in a good spot. If they were to lose, maybe Deshawn gets into trouble because Nasir says, I'm going to gun for Deshawn after he's, caught them looking for idols in episode 1. But I just don't think they're going to lose this week. I think it's just too early for that tribe to run into any type of trouble. They'd have to have a real disaster at the immunity challenge, like a real disaster, or just a really, really blow a puzzle. But they've been blowing through the puzzles so far this season too.
Erica's been killing it.
They only have to get 2nd place. Like, there's 3 tribes, so all you have to do is not be last.
Right. Right. You would think that would be easy,
but maybe it's harder than you think.
It's harder than you would think. So, I do remember, quick tidbit, we were on like absolutely demoralized. We absolutely sucked. We were like the worst ever. And we were right before we were going to a challenge. War Dog and David were in like the worst moods ever. And I was like, guys, we just have to get 2nd. Like, it's fine. Just, we're going to get 2nd. It's going to be great. Don't worry about it. Honestly, we don't even want to think about comma because freaking Joe is going to win it for them anyway. So we just like, let's focus on not being last. And they were like, I think War Dog said, shut up, Lauren, or something like that. I think that is when we got into one of our fights, but whatever. And then we get to the challenge. We're like, okay, we're all pumped up at this point. We're like, 2nd, we got this. And Jeff said, 2 tribes are going to tribal.
Nice.
You know what? I'm good.
We don't got it anymore.
I think we made it to the puzzle before we lost. Yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts on 2 immunity challenges.
Well, and with them doing the first episode, having 2 tribes lose and vote out 2 people right away, I think they're not going to do that maybe until right before the merge again, if they did try to do it in the tribe phase. So I'd be really shocked if that happened this week. Now, if it does, maybe Luvu could end up in a little bit of danger because there's no guarantee you're going to win every challenge, but it's kind of like that whatever the yellow tribe was from Philippines, where they just didn't lose because they would just finish second or first. Like it didn't matter for them. That's kind of how I feel Luvu is going to go. Like, they're definitely going to finish 2nd sometimes. They just have to make sure they don't finish 2nd at a tribe or at a immunity challenge where finishing 2nd sends you home.
Right. Absolutely. No, that's a solid point.
Who's your 5?
Was it my turn? 5? Oh, Danny.
Okay.
Danny.
Yeah. pretty much just because I like him.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
Beast.
I think he was my favorite after episode 1. And it wasn't really close, if honestly. I mean, I just loved him. I thought
we're thinking alike here on this cast so far.
I know. I just loved him. I thought he was like so just off. I hate using this word because it's such a buzzword, but like truly just authentic. He was just like, yeah, I'm gonna help my tribe, and like I'm gonna go look for a immunity idol, and okay, I guess I'll go to the walk up the mountain or whatever it is. You know, like just kind of
whatever about it.
Not in a, you know, I'm so dumb, I'll do whatever they say way. Just in a very like, okay, I'm an athlete and I know what it's like to be on a team, and right now we're in a team, and so I want our team to win. And I'm going to do things that benefit the team. I love that. And I think he's also like super charming and nice and whatever. So I'm putting him at 5.
Yep. And I ultimately like his decision to keep his vote in the first episode, because otherwise everybody would have lost their vote. And, you know, so I think him thinking ahead like that and knowing that with the type of player he is, with the type of, you know, type that he's just playing on Survivor, you don't have to do anything special to make the merge as his type. You need to worry about getting further in the merge when you look like him or when you are him. So that's where he's going to be fine now. He doesn't need to make a big risk on day number 3 and screw anything up for him. He's got to start worrying as they get a little bit closer to the final 13, 12, that area.
He needs to be careful once he gets to the merge, because that's when people will be like, oh, he's so good at challenges. Let's put him out.
Even though he might not even do anything, and people just assume because he has muscles, oh, he's good at challenges, and then Jeannie and Evie win the first 2, and it's like, great, it's done.
100% believe that, because all of the after merge challenges, unless there's something where you get to stand up on a perch, you do puzzles.
You don't need muscle.
No, not at all. Because as the game progresses, the challenge is physically demanding. I think always physically demanding in some way, but it's less of a like this last challenge where they had to like pull things and push things and climb up mountains, like you can see in past Survivor seasons. As it progresses, it's more of just like crawl under this net or something like that, you know, and puzzles.
Yeah.
So,
like Alexa, who you got at 5?
This is probably way too high, but I actually have Liana at 5. I think like that yellow tribe is like such a disaster. There's just like not a lot of places to go. Like Xander isn't going to vote for a long time. Evie is clearly in control, but I think this all girls thing is real. I don't imagine that Xander's going to go home. I just like can't imagine that the players or anyone is going to let him go home without this butterfly thing coming to fruition. And Liana's very good at challenges. Tiffany is not. So if Evie must get rid of a woman, I don't think it would be Liana. Or they all see that Evie's in control and they decide to get rid of Evie. I don't think they would get rid of Liana.
Just don't see Tiffany and Liana working together separately. That's my biggest problem with that, because we haven't really seen the two of them interact, have we? Or did I just miss that in episode 2? Yeah. That's my biggest hiccup, because I love Liana. Liana, I thought the way she like brought them back in that challenge, like she killed it. It took her 2 seconds. She might have been the fastest one in that challenge. Like if she competed against the first people, she probably would have been the first one. But it just like, what are they going to do now when they're at 4? These other tribes, if they're just doing one challenge, which it seems like that's all they're doing at this point per episode in these 2-day cycles, they're sitting out their 2 weakest members every time. And now you have to find, if you have any portion that's physical, you got to find somewhere to put Tiffany in this early portion of the game. I don't know. I feel like Liana could get into trouble by being like, let's just get rid of Tiffany. And then Tiffany kind of blowing up the way she blew up on Vochi in the last episode and wanting to get rid of him because he mentioned her name.
Yeah.
But I hope you're right, Alexa, because I really like her.
Yeah, I like her too.
So.
But after I said that he's probably going to get voted out, like, I hope you're right.
I hope you're right. I really hope she stays. I really like her.
Very like, Lauren, I love that you said that authentic was a buzzword. I was about to say Liana is so normal. And I feel like that's also, like, we love a normal person. But
yeah,
like,
we love an authentic.
I'd hang out with Liana. I hope she hears
authentic, that. Intentional.
Normal. Oh, now we're at work.
Yeah. No, trust me. I got buzzwords for days.
Energy.
So number 3, what am I even saying now? Number 5 for me. I can't.
Sorry.
I have Heather. But I have nothing to say about Heather. I just agree with you, Lauren, when you said that Jeannie wouldn't go this week. why would Heather go this week? Like, her tribe hasn't been in trouble at all. She hasn't been really a part of anything that's been going on that tribe. If they were to vote her off, and if Luva were to lose this week and Heather were to go, they did a really bad job of editing this, because if that tribe loses, they still should have given us something on the person that's shockingly going to go home when that tribe shockingly loses. Absolutely. So I just don't see it being Heather. So yeah, I have really nothing else to say about her. I don't know if she's going to be long for the game or short for the game, but I don't see her going this week.
No, 100%. Am I on 6?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to go with Erica for number 6.
Nice.
Solely because I don't think that tribe's going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, I don't think it's going to be her they take out.
Got it. Yeah. I have nothing to say about Erica. I really just I don't know her.
I don't know her. And again, same kind of thought process as the genie and what you were saying about Heather.
Yeah.
And I think that they've shown that she's good at challenges, so or good at puzzles. And I don't think that tribe is gonna lose. So
yep. Well, it's funny. So here, I just want to throw this one up here. People keep talking about the secret scene with Heather. So Explorer JC, there was a secret scene on Heather that makes her look on the outs of the tribe, and I don't know why it wasn't on the episode. The way I always look at that, because I never watch a single secret scene, the way I look at that is, there is no way that they would leave that out if she actually was on the outs and all of that. Yeah. They would have put that in the episode. So that secret scene to me is useless. It's just there because Heather wasn't in the episode.
Let us not forget the secret scene that was released of War Dog and Kelly talking without me and planning to like maybe possibly vote me out. Mm-hmm. There were 2 separate secret scenes that had that.
Was that the mustard one?
Yeah, that was mustard.
That
yeah.
Was
cool. Yeah. So it's like, I totally, completely agree with you that people obviously like have I didn't even know there were secret scenes until I was on the show. So I almost feel like a lot of viewers don't know that. And so they wouldn't include something that was so important to an edit or an explanation as to why someone got voted out as secret scene.
Well, and especially when you think about some of the stuff that was in this episode. In the Sears whole storyline, you would have put Heather being on the outs in rather than the Sear being on the up and up. You wouldn't have drawn so much attention to the Brad situation. That would have made the cut anyway, but you wouldn't have drawn so much attention to it. Exactly. You would have found more time.
The entire tribe on that,
yeah, and maybe you wouldn't have had the immunity challenge happen 15 minutes into the episode like they did this week, and focus so much on the yellow tribe after that because you needed to give a little bit more time to Heather and set her up to go home in the next episode. So I agree with you. I would be pretty shocked. Okay, Alexa, I'm just going to jump real quick because I have Ricard. So now we all have put Ricard in. We're at 6. He's already on everybody's list. So we're all feeling pretty good about where Ricard is sitting on that green tribe. And we're all feeling pretty like average about where clearly where JD and Brad are sitting on that tribe, because nobody has mentioned them yet. Unless, Alexa, are you about to name drop one of them at 6?
I'm not. 6 and 7 are actually Nasir and Heather for me, and we've talked about them so much. I think Blue is not going to lose, and if they lose, it's not going to be them.
There you go. Makes sense. Lauren, who's your 7?
My 7 is Heather, and my 8 is Shan.
Nice. Why so low on Shan? She was my number 1. What are you doing?
Because I just feel like because here's the thing. I think these power rankings need to be renamed, because it's not who I think is the best. It's who do I think is not going to go home. Yeah. I personally think that the people on the blue tribe, I don't know the names of them, but blue tribe are less likely to go home because I think they're going to win. And I've said it before, I think Shan has gotten a lot of positive editing, a lot of positive press. And so it is possible that we are shocked and she goes home next episode. More likely than Jeannie. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's why it's predictions and power rankings. Predictions first, power rankings second.
I just didn't want people to think that I was like, these people are best. Although, no, that's not what I'm thinking.
Well, okay, so then let's make this real power rankings. Who's your favorite to win the season right now? God. See, you did this to yourself. We would have never asked, but you know. Sarah, yeah. So you've been watching closely, I see.
No, I'm joking. Look, if I've learned one thing from watching and being on Survivor, it is incredibly difficult to predict a winner unless you like are on the Reddit scene every single day, like reading confessionals and stuff like that. And even then, like, let us not forget who won my season. You know, like,
please let us forget who won your season. Sorry, Chris. I'm just kidding, Chris. Chris, I'm kidding.
We love Chris. But like there are no rules anymore, you know? So I don't know. I honestly think that it is possible that the people that we are kind of seeing as the power leaders, like Shan and Ricard and Evie, I don't think one of them wins. I don't know why I feel that way. But that's kind of how I feel. I don't know that I have a winner pick yet. And honestly, if one of them is watching and they're thinking like, you're an idiot, I apologize. I know nothing. But that is my kind of perspective. I would say, you know what? I'm just going to make bold prediction. I'm going to say Nasir wins.
Wow. That was my guy before the season began. So that's awesome.
I kind of want him to win. I love him. I love him. Yeah.
I think that's the one thing on this season that the community has kind of rallied around and totally agrees on is that they all love Nasir up until this point. Like whether they like certain twists, like certain people on the cast, everybody likes Nasir right now. And that's a nice thing to see. It just took Nasir being on Survivor to bring us all together.
Finally, we agree on something.
We all agree.
No, I love that. Yeah, no, I love him. So I'm just going to make him my winner pick today. It could change tomorrow. I don't know.
Love it.
There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and do 7 and 8. And I actually have to look at their names, but I remember the order sort of. I have Erica and JD. So I go Erica at 7 and JD at 8. And my thinking is, I think that JD has rebounded quite nicely from his first episode. And I think that was a total bluff a la Cochran. And I don't think he was actually in much danger at all. I think they just wanted to make it seem that way. And I actually think that Brad has just painted a massive target on his back and that Jeannie has really no pull on that tribe. I think JD is very comfortably going to be in as number 3 with Shan and with Ricard. I just think that's the 3 there. So I'm going to move him up a lot higher than I had him last week. And I'll throw Erica in at 7 because blue tribe. She's wearing blue. That's a good thing.
I also have JD at 8. I don't think he's like in a place where he's like winning yet, but I think he's like past I have to assume being on the Survivor premiere is just like the most exciting thing that'll ever happen to you. And he's like 21 years old and probably had a little too much energy. Like I don't blame him for being high energy. I have him at number 8. I think he's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so Lauren, I'll do this again. Is he a hero? No, I'm just kidding. But do you think that he actually is going to get this redemption arc, or do you think that this is something where he's such a big fan of the show that they have to find a way to get him in as much as possible? What do you think?
I think he's super interesting to watch. He's very fun. His confessionals are super energetic. I don't think it's in a redemption arc solely because I don't think he was a villain long enough.
Yeah.
So had he pulled villain for 3 episodes and then episode 4, he gets that good at he did in episode 2, then I'd be like, hold up. I could see redemption arc. I just think he's like interesting. I do think I totally understand what you guys are saying about like them making it seem like he was in trouble. But thinking about that tribe, so JD, Ricard, Brad, Liana, and Jeannie.
No, not Liana. Shan and Jeannie. It's Shan and Jeannie.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Shan and Jeannie. I could see him being. I don't think I could see him having been in trouble. Just because of the relationships I've seen Shan make. And because we didn't see anything about Jeannie. So I don't know. I haven't ranked him yet, but I totally get what you're saying of like, just like, oh, he might go home. And then you're like, no, he's not. So
yeah. Well, who is your 9 then?
My number 9 I haven't said Evie yet, have I?
No, you have not.
Yeah. So she's my number 9. And then I'll just give you my number 10, and I'm gonna throw Xander in there.
So how in the world is Xander, and I'm asking it this way because this is the question that everybody's asking right now. How in the world is Xander surviving on this absolute disaster of a tribe that has nobody, that he has no vote? Everybody knows that he could possibly have an idol. It seems like there's a female alliance. How in the world is Xander surviving that?
Because I like rooting for an underdog.
We love an underdog.
I like that it wasn't because underdogs happen. It was I like rooting for them.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, yeah, underdogs happen for sure, but no, I like rooting for them. And honestly, I like Xander. I will say, so I don't ever watch any pregame press. I literally don't know who is on the show until the show starts. And when I first saw him, I was like, he kind of gave me like Alec from
Kelly's season.
No. Alec Merlino.
Oh, David Goliath.
Yeah. Vibes like kind of just like that surfer guy, like totally just like fun, athletic, and that was that was gonna be his like archetype. But I loved when he came back from the little mountain hike and the way he talked us through why he didn't lie and how he feels like people don't need to lie about where they go. I just thought that was very articulate. I thought it was intelligent. I think that his downfall is going to be that he is too open with the people he's playing with. But I don't know, guys. Just something about him. I don't think he's going home. Okay. And I'm just putting good vibes out there because I like him.
I just don't think he's going home because they're not like, I can't imagine he goes home with this butterflies thing.
I think he's getting Spencered here where it's like, okay, we'll decimate our tribe, but now that we're down to 3 and it could possibly be us, let's keep him and get rid of the person who we should have gotten rid of last week so that we can ensure that, like, I mean, not for nothing. Like I said last week, I thought this was the wrong move just because Xander is very loyal to Evie right now. Like he seems like he is just all in on Evie. And so if he still feels that way, there's no reason to not keep him if you lose again and are somehow going down to 3. I mean, that's just crazy. But I mean, I think that Survivor, what they're doing right now with this whole like surfer bro kind of character coming out and actually being like having depth. They started it with Devin, happened again with Alec, and now we have it with Xander. This is not an archetype we saw for most of the 20s and really most of the teens. And it's like, it's about time we're starting to get something like that because maybe one of these people will actually sneak in and win the game because they actually have game rather than just winning challenges.
Yeah. No, I think Xander is very smart. And like, I get that he's kind of at a weird spot right now, but like he has 2 advantages in quotes on day 5.
Yeah.
On day 5. And I think it's very telling that he was not voted out last episode. Personally.
I think like everyone likes him and he also like, he's kind of like, I mean this in a, not from a challenge perspective, but from a voting perspective.
Call me. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. That's what this is. Hold on, Alexa. Let her spit game real quick, and then you can get back.
I'm like, hey, Xander, follow me on
Instagram. Instagram's back up, Xander.
Is it back up? I thought this was bad Wi-Fi all day. Okay. All right. Well, if you're listening, Xander.
He's like, I'm about to say something that's going to sound mean. He's like kind of dead weight right now. Like he can't do anything bad to you because he can't vote you out. So keep him.
I completely agree with that. And that was going to be my next statement of why vote him out if he doesn't have a vote and he's super loyal to you, Evie. Like there's no reason for Evie to vote him out. But I also think that her, like if I was her, and I totally understand that her and Liana are super close, I would vote out Liana because I think that, right? Yeah. Okay. Making sure I'm not confusing people. I think that Liana is more likely to want to play her own game as they get to the merge, want to be kind of in control, would be willing to cut Evie's throat. I think that Tiff would be more loyal to Evie.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the situation right now. She could have Tiffany and Xander, one who is completely loyal and one who literally can't do anything but be loyal.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a choice. And that's what happened with Spencer Cass and Tasha. It's the exact same situation. Cass or Tasha kind of like, I guess whoever you want to say was the leader. I guess it was Cass, but Cass had Spencer because Spencer didn't have a choice. You know, so like, yeah, there was not necessarily a Tiffany in that situation, but there was definitely a Spencer. Or a Xander. So that's where it feels like this is going.
Yeah, no, I think there's something to be said about creating an alliance. You know, I said it on my season. My goal was to partner or, you know, align with people that were way bigger threats than me and thought that they could beat me, because then they won't vote you out.
Yeah.
And so Evie is kind of the opposite sort of, you know, she is the big threat. But if she creates an alliance of people that she knows are loyal to her, and honestly, if I was her, I would swing it to Tiffany of like, go to her and say, look, Xander has an idol. It is working and he wants to vote for you, but I'm going to vote for Liana because I want to work with you. Tiff would be loyal to her forever, you know? So I think that there's just like a lot of more gameplay as possible for Evie if she votes Liana out.
So you've convinced me. I'm going to put Xander at my number 9 since I'm doing these live and haven't.
Thank you.
Yeah, you convinced me because it just makes sense. I fear more for Liana and Tiffany at this point over there. I really do. Alexa, who's your 9? Yeah, call Xander. Her number is okay. Should I just do that on YouTube for you, Lauren?
I think Xander recently followed us on Instagram, so hopefully he's listening.
Supposedly your fiance is in the chat, so you know, like whatever.
I have a fiance?
Supposedly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, when are we getting married?
People are February 22nd. People are congratulating you.
Wait a minute.
It's Xander.
February 22nd.
Oh, I love February weddings.
No.
You guys are. Oh, am I back?
You're back.
Am I back now? Cool. I said I love February weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
live in
awesome.
California.
Wedding.
I don't think he'd like February weddings, but
yeah, definitely tell him to, you know, like reach out to me. So like I've just meet him before the wedding, but
yeah.
Helpful.
Just want to be there.
My mom's gonna be so happy.
Your dad's gonna be like,
My dad's gonna be like, it's about time.
Did he see that? Did he see that cardboard cutout or whatever it was from the premiere party?
That was amazing.
Alexa, who you got at 9?
Wow. Okay. So 9 is Sydney and 10 is Xander. I was also convinced that Xander is not going home. Great job, Lauren.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think Xander's fine. I think he's like, again, I think like what's he going to do to you right now? Like, he can't do anything. And he can only help you in challenges. Sydney is like, again, I think she's fine. I think she's very safe. I think she's very athletic. She's one of few people who we actually like have heard something from on the Luvu. All the names are sounding similar. The Luvu tribe. So
I just go by color.
Yeah, by the blue tribe. So, but I don't think there's anything like that makes me believe that she would go home, but she's not super quiet and she's not Danny. So I think she has a higher chance of going home than he does.
Yeah, I've Sydney at 10. So pretty much in line with what you're thinking there, Alexa. It wouldn't make sense for her to go, but then at the same time, she's been arguably the most visible person on that tribe. Nasir just has a bigger personality and is more of a distinct character, so we might think he's getting more screen time. But I actually think if you would look at confessionals and like if you actually like counted the minutes that they've been on screen, I bet you Sydney is the most visible person on that tribe.
Yeah.
And that kind of confuses me because does that mean they're setting her up to potentially be the one who goes? She's flip-flopping on Nasir, and now maybe she tries to push for Deshawn, and then there goes Sydney. But then again, Luvu still has to lose. And when's that going to happen?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Lauren, who you got at 11?
Am I at 11?
Yeah, we only have 5 left.
Oh God. Okay. My number 11 is going to be Heather because she's on the blue tribe. That's all I really have to say.
Love that.
Wait, that's 11. I can do 12 after that.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go Deshawn because he's on the blue tribe.
Got it.
I have Deshawn at 11 also. I think like out of anyone on the blue tribe, he's probably the only one who's semi in trouble because he got yelled at for idol hunting. And he also like has a relationship with Evie because they had that mountain thing together. He's like the only person who has any form of even remote controversy. So if anyone from Blue were to go home, I think it would be him.
It's funny because like I got 3 points last week because that's where I put Vochi, and then I put Deshawn at 4, and now you're all making pretty good arguments for like putting Deshawn all the way at the bottom. So I'm gonna end up coming out of this first 2 weeks with 7 points in the power rankings because I just can't read shit this year. So thanks everybody. Thanks. You guys could have told me beforehand you were gonna put Deshawn really low. I would have done it too.
If I had made my rankings before this exact
I would have required everyone to plan ahead.
Yes, I know.
I need a text next time like, hey, we are planning ahead. Make sure you know who is a hero and a villain.
Yes, exactly. No, that's the question I have to put you on the spot for, to make sure you say villain so somebody sends you an angry text or something.
I know. No, I truly think if to be categorized as a villain, you need a like true villain edit. Not just, how it was loosely thrown around on my season where people were calling Kelly a villain. And it was like, what?
Always been a villain.
Because she's upset that we're losing?
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, me either.
All right. Well, I have my 11 as Liana and my 12 as Jeannie. I think that the Green Tribe, if they lose, I just worry that like it's going to be Brad or it's going to be Jeannie at this point because I feel like it's really just creating the separation of 3-2. And I think because Jeannie got her like emotional real life moment in episode 1 where we got to see her wife and all that stuff. I think that makes it so that there's enough from her that if she goes, it'll be like, well, she got her emotional moments, which that wouldn't be the case with Heather, which is why I feel less confident in Jeannie being necessarily safe, especially if this tribe, all of a sudden they start getting down in numbers. They say, let's keep Brad for one more and then vote him out. We'll vote him out the next time because he's not going to do anything anyway. And I have Liana at 11. This whole bottom 5, I think, is in a lot of trouble. I think any of them could go home this week if their tribe loses. So that's just kind of where I'm at this point.
Wait,
she's frozen. Hold on, Lauren. Hold on. And go now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yep, you're back.
Okay, sorry. Is Liana number 12 for you? Or are we on number 12? I think I did.
Liana was my 11. Jeannie was my 12. You had 11 and 12. You had Deshawn at 12. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Alexa hasn't done her 12 yet. Yeah.
Got it.
My 12 and 13 are Evie and then Tiffany. I think just like the tribe has 4 people on it. Like there's just nowhere to turn. So I think any of them could be in trouble because if they go to tribal council, it's like 25% chance one of them's going to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. And Tiffany's been in trouble since she started.
Yeah, Tiffany just seems like the logical one at this point. It's like, what are you going to do? Who do you have at 13, Lauren?
Tiffany.
Yeah. I like Tiffany. I feel bad.
I like Tiffany a lot. I don't really have anything to say because I actually think she is, I'm not putting her at 15, so I think she's more likely to stay. I think she's super fun to watch. I think that I love her actually. But her name's been tossed around and she didn't perform very well in the challenge. So I think it's possible.
Yeah, it's tough because like I like Tiffany a lot too, but I feel like it's just been nonstop negative talk about her. I mean, even for me on this podcast, just because it's like I'm trying to fathom why you kept her last week when your tribe is just shrinking in this 6-person tribe.
Sorry, go ahead.
But, and it was clearly her fault that they lost that challenge. She couldn't get across the beam.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, it's like, but her personality's fun. She's really good, like at the social game, obviously. So you got to give credit there. It's just, if they lose again, how do you keep her one more you're just starting to dwindle too much. It's just too difficult. But
I think it's super interesting you said that because this girl that's at Baylor right now, she DM'd me on Instagram and asked if she was writing a paper for her class, and she asked if I had a comment on how the strategy and gameplay has evolved over the years. And I just made the comment about how I think now people want to make big moves and they're not as worried about winning challenges. Mm-hmm. They're more worried about setting themselves up for the long game. And I think that's what Evie was doing when she kept Tiff.
Yep.
And she was like, oh no, Tiffany is loyal to me, so I'm going to keep her. And they're just like, if we lose another challenge, it's fine. Which is interesting because having gone to a bajillion challenges or bajillion tribals, like you always can go home and you never know what's going to happen. But I also understand it where it's like you want to prepare for the long game And because their game's so short, you have to make big moves earlier.
I think people have totally and it's always going to work out for someone. That's the truth of the matter. It's always going to work out for someone. But I do think that survivors in general have started to look too far ahead. And that's why we've seen people like Chelsea get voted out with an idol, Aubrey get voted out with an idol, because they're already thinking about what's going to happen so far down the line. And I don't want to use this now. We saw JT do it back in Game Changers. If he plays that idol there, he survives, he could win that entire game. But he doesn't play it because he's looking so far ahead. And I think there needs to become this balance. And I think the players who do find that balance are the ones who tend to win or at least go very deep in the game. It seems like somebody like Victoria on your season was playing thinking about the end game, but wasn't letting it get in the way entirely of everything that was going on with Kama. Like it wasn't the only thing she was thinking about. Right now, I worry that Evie is thinking too much about this one thing. And it's like, I want to get Tiff and I want to have Xander, or I want to have Tiff and I want to have Liana. Great. She even said in the last episode, we're at final 5. You're not, though. You're at final 16. You're not even close to final 5, but it starts to feel that way because all you're seeing is what's happening on your tribe.
I think to that point, I'm going to compliment Xander again. His whole, I just want to get to the next day. I think that is such a good strategy. And I realize that people are going to say, oh no, but you can only win if you have like a good strategy. I mean, did we think Chris was going to get voted out on day 8? Like, no. And he came back and won. So I just think Survivor is it's evolved so much and it changes every single day that just being like, okay, I'm going to make it to tomorrow. And how can I make it to tomorrow is an incredible game plan. Because like you said, I totally agree with you. I think that Evie is looking too far ahead and planning too far ahead. And that's why I didn't put her up at the top and why I think that she.
Yeah. And that's why I'm confident in her now, but I have her at 1 now. I had her very low last week. I don't know where I'm going to have her next week. I'll kill my rankings though. So this is the bottom person from each tribe. And this is kind of the order that I think they're actually going to lose this week. So at 13, I do have Nasir, mainly just because I'm confused with that tribe. Don't think that they're going to lose, but I put Nasir there. What was that?
I'm team Nasir.
I love Nasir, but I worry a little bit because it's either going to be him. Like I said, I put Deshawn at 4. I'm probably screwed. Whatever. It'll be Deshawn because everybody else is putting him low. But Nasir 13, that's who I got there. 14, I have Tiffany, and then I have Brad in last. I think that Brad, if they lose on the Green Tribe, I think he is the vote. I don't even really think they're going to question it. Ricard wants him gone. Shan showed where her loyalty is. The only way that he doesn't go is if JD is really pulling a fast one on me and everybody.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to go with Ricard and Shan, but that would also require Jeannie to vote with him too. And I have no idea what Jeannie's doing right now. So I think it would require too much in this episode. So I am putting Brad in spot 15 as the least safe person this week.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I did too. I think Jeannie is 14 and Brad is 15.
Got it.
And unless like the thing is they're not in like a bad challenge situation. Like they've only lost once. It's like, I think Brad is good in challenges, but it's not like he's carrying the team on his back.
Sure. All right. I'll kill it then. So I have Brad at 14 and Liana at 15.
Bye, Liana.
You're giving Liana no shot here.
Saving Xander.
Saving Xander. No, it's true. And again, I don't know what Evie is thinking, and I always have to remember that like we have so much more information than they do. But I think Evie is so smart, and I think that she will see how strong and personable, because I think Liana is awesome. I think she's super smart. I think she kills it at challenges. I think that she's like sweet. I think she's fun to watch. And I think Evie will see that and think, okay, Liana's the type of person that we're going to get into bigger groups. We're going to get to the merge, and she's going to turn on me because she can control what's going on. And not that I don't think Tiff is amazing, but I think that Tiff has more of a character of loyalty, like a ride or die. If you help me now, then I'll back you up.
Well, and I think Liana's a triple threat. And based on what we all just said about Evie, she's playing for the end game, get rid of your triple threat now and keep your goats already. And I'm not saying Tiff is necessarily a goat because it's way too early in the game. And if she's able to overcome everything, just because you lose challenges early on doesn't mean you're a goat. See that in Vanuatu. See that in Vanuatu. Well, no, I meant, okay. That wasn't a Lesu compliment. I just want to throw that out there before anybody takes that the wrong way. But I do think that so much we do tend to say, oh, well, they sucked at the challenges early on. They're blowing it for their tribe. It's done. But that's not really the way the game goes anymore. And once you hit the post-merge, it turns into a completely different game where people don't even have the time to remember what happened in the pre-merge, unless it's an Edge of Extinction season where for some reason the pre-mergers get to vote to win. But I think that if she's playing such a long, like looking so far ahead, Liana absolutely is who she should be voting out, not Tiffany.
Completely agree.
That's it.
We did it, guys.
We made it all the way from 1 to 15. Lauren, how'd that feel?
That felt great. I'm sorry. I go off on lots of tangents. I have lots of thoughts, and I don't even know that I have them until we're talking about them.
There you go. That was like a Michael Scott sort of quote right there, But getting there. What is that paraphrase? That's what it's called. There we go. I'm getting there. Well, anyway, Lauren, it was great having you on. Always fun. Always a pleasure. Great way to start off this week of episode 3, where we're going to have our 4th person voted out of the game. And I don't know, we're all thinking it's either going to be Tiffany or Liana or Brad. We're all kind of in that boat. Blue, we're thinking is safe, which means Blue's going to go to tribal council for sure. And it's going to be Deshawn.
I know 100%. They're going to vote out Danny.
Yeah. Danny's gone.
If anyone thinks this, they're just like laughing at us. Like, you idiots.
Yeah. You can't see that
on my season. I'm sure I listened to y'all, but I listened to a few other ones that were just kind of predicting, and I was never safe. And I was like, just wait.
You're like, oh, I'm safe.
I'm safe.
Now I want to, Alexa, we got to dig up the season 38 power rankings. We got to dig up the season 38 power rankings so that I can prove that I had Lauren near the top almost every time in that season. So
you did. You had my back. No, I remember this. Yeah. I think Alexa didn't like me though.
That's what it was.
I think I made like one comment in the preseason, and I was like, Lauren's gonna hate me after this.
Well, if we're being honest, I agree with you. My preseason press was horrifying.
Was it?
It was just like, yeah. I mean, if you can summarize it, it's I played college soccer, and I'm a triple threat.
A triple threat.
I remember this. I do remember this because the college soccer thing was all we had.
I love the triple threat.
Yeah, I think I actually, as I was scrolling through those June pictures earlier, I saw that sign I made for you the very first time that I was on your podcast. I don't remember exactly what it said, Alexa, but I think it was I'm sure it was sassy, but
it was probably I think I made a comment. I was like, oh, does Lauren play soccer or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, which totally agree. And I now, if I was doing that, I would realize, okay, they're asking the same question, but you have to give a different answer.
Yeah.
But we're all going to be in the same place.
But no one's helped. Like, it's not like they are helpful to you whatsoever.
No, they were just like asking the same exact questions from all different news outlets. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just give you the same answer. I'm like, looking back on it, I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? Like over and over, I play college soccer. I'm a triple threat. It was like, oh, wow, someone's to date her.
Now, what was more embarrassing though, that or Kelly's reaction when she found out you played soccer with her? Oh my God, I did too. Like, what's more embarrassing? Which one?
I never think Kelly's embarrassing.
Okay, see, Kelly gets a free pass. That's not fair.
Yeah, Kelly gets a free pass about anything. And I love her.
So. There you go.
What a way.
But if Xander wanted to call you, you'd still make room.
Kick out Kelly? Probably not.
Not kick out Kelly. Sorry, Xander.
No. You know what question I get a lot is if I'm mad that Kelly told people that I had an idol. And my response is literally like, I didn't even think twice about it. Like, I 100% thought she would, because I didn't know that, like, I didn't think the jury members were playing a game still. Like, I'm like, y'all are gone. Yeah, you are not playing. And I just assumed everybody was sharing information. Yeah. So anyway, I get that question. I'm like, no, I was not once upset about it.
There you go. Because you can't be upset at Kelly. That's
never.
it.
My ride or die. I love her. Huge fan girl.
Well, Alexa, why don't you take us home so we get out of here so we can see everybody on Wednesday?
Yeah, so on Wednesday, we are going to be recapping a little later than 9 Eastern. I think we're going to do this thing where I'm going to FaceTime Phil and watch Survivor on his DVR.
The way it was meant to be watched.
Because we both have commitments that we cannot move that are going to bleed into the 8 o'clock hour. So we'll be live, let's say like 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Maybe it'll be early, maybe it'll be later, who knows. But in the meantime, you should become a patron at patreon.com/Survivor Specialists. And you can ask us Q&A questions and we might answer them. You can join our Facebook group because Facebook is finally back after 6 hours of perjury. And you can participate in our $20 Power Rankings game. And if you win, we will buy you one buff. So become a patron today.
There you go. That's it. We'll see everybody on Wednesday. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on.
Lauren,
Always fun.
thank you so much for having me. I love y'all.